Based on how well you guys played and winning the title, the seedings and everything today, did that jive with what you expected?
Pretty much. I don't think that with the numbers now that they base everything on, you kind of know where you're going to be, and then it's just a matter of which part of the country you're going to be. And sometimes they do it on a financial basis. Sometimes they stick to the true way they should do it. So we weren't surprised at where we are and who we're playing.
What do you know about UMass Lowell?
Absolutely very little. So we'll start doing our homework. I know that Zach Remaker, our director of hockey ops, also a video guy, has already got games downloaded. And he'll start breaking them down, and we'll be here first thing in the morning and start doing our homework.
What's the emotion right now? Is there an emotion right now after what you guys have been through the past few days? You knew that this was going to be official today, but now that you know you're in, you know who you're playing after everything that you've gone through this past weekend.
You know, before we started the playoffs, our goal was to play for another month. And so we had that on the board in our room, and we just keep checking it off. Okay, we got this done. Now we got this done. Now we have a chance to, if we're successful this weekend, we get one more week to play. And I don't think there's no up, down. It's just kind of let's move ahead with our plan here and see what we can get done.
Is there a benefit to playing that kind of, you have to hold your breath every week because it's game to game to game? Is there a benefit to that? So, I mean, you really can't take any games off, I guess?
Well, it's just a mindset. We've been playing playoff hockey, you could almost say, since the beginning of December. And our mindset, we've learned to live in that mindset, prepare in that mindset, and play to that. And I think that's been a benefit for us.
Like, you can't control who you play or where you're going to play. But given how well you guys are playing right now, does it matter to you the type of style you face or anything?
I think that every team that's in this tournament can beat any other team. I really do. We've seen that all year in our league and playing some of our non-conference games. Any team in the 16-team tournament can win. It just depends on, as you come day by day, do you have your A game, your minus game, your B game, but any team can win any given night now.
If you look at your history in the times that you've gone into the tournament, not had a lot of momentum in a lot of circumstances. You do now, correct?
Well, I would agree with that analysis. It's funny, we've played 12 straight weeks going into our 13th, and when you're playing well, you want to play well. There's been seasons where you're playing well and you have a week off and then you try to get the momentum back. Well, we haven't had that problem. I think the issue for us is just maintaining what we have and keep rolling.
Do you remember some of those instances? I mean, in 04, you lost in the first round of the playoffs. You went up to the Final Five and lost that first game on a couple of occasions. Do you recall how difficult it was to try and get back on track? Was it really that difficult to do?
I don't remember any. To be really honest, I don't know if it's wrong to not go back and look at those things, but those are in the past, and we have to deal with what we're going with right now.
What's the difference between now and November? I mean, is it just a question of finding your own identity, or what is the difference between this team and the team that was here back in?
Well, we've heard us talk about it several times. It's getting some people back in our lineup that were out for different reasons. Zengerle, Lee, Cordelis, these guys are out, and they bring a component to our game that we were missing. We were playing and not being able to score a lot of goals, and we were finding ways to lose because of that fact. But we get these guys back in, and everybody's able to accept their role and excel at their role, and we started winning some games because of that. And then we found some chemistry with our lines and our deep pairings, and our goalies played well, and things kept moving ahead.
How big has Cordelis been?
Well, I don't think you want to put the whole thing on his shoulders. It just correlates that since he came back in the lineup, we've been pretty good. But it's been him in the lineup and guys playing with certain guys and having chemistry and everybody doing their part.
What are you most proud of with this team and what they've had to overcome and endure and go through? What gives you most satisfaction and pride with them?
I think these young men will remember this year, when they have their 30th anniversary or 20th anniversary, whatever they have when they come back. And, they'll talk about the life lessons that were discovered during this hard time. It was not easy. And they figured out some things that I think will serve them well when they have families of their own, or they're in their own business or working for somebody. That, you know what, you have things on a day-to-day basis that you can control. You have choices to make, and whether you become successful or get out of that hole you're in is based on those decisions you make.
People would assume, but based on your track record here, that you're playing your best. Are you? Are you playing your best hockey right now?
Pretty close. I think the teams that we just played push us to our limits. I thought there was times in the games that we played that structurally we could have been better, but we're pretty close to our best.
You would think your power play is the one area that seems to, you could probably squeeze a few more drops
Always.
of blood
I
out of it.
mean, we have been improved, but I think that we can keep tinkering with that. And if we can tinker with a little bit more and get some little higher percentage and some additions in goal scoring in that area, that would be a good thing to have.
You mentioned the improvement in power play. Penalty kill, if I'm correct, as well has improved. What's been the difference there? Is it just the tinkering?
Well, I think in the beginning, we had more guys coming back that had experience with it. And I think that as the year has gone on, we've been getting better because of repetitions and feedback and just game experience. So, and our goaltending's been good. You can't forget goaltending when you talk about penalty killing. So our guys have done a nice job, and we've got 6 guys now that we feel can rotate in there, and they need to be a part of what we get done here.
Speaking of goaltending, you've had a couple of times over the last couple of years where it seems like it's been attempted to give Joel the reins to be the guy, I guess. What's been different this time? What's clicked for him? Because he's obviously been that kind of guy you wanted down the stretch here.
I think just experience and maturity. You have to go through the fire. There's no way to get that type of mindset, if you will. And he had last year's experience, and he almost got it done for us. We were in Game 3 in Denver, and he played very well there. So I think he built on that. I think this year, every day in practice, he competes with Landon Peterson. And Landon pushes him, and when Rumps was struggling or wasn't playing well, Petey's right there knocking on the door. So I think they have a really healthy relationship. They pull for each other, but at the same time, they know that the guy that's playing well is going to be in the nets. And Rumps was given the ball going down the stretch here, but Petey was a big part of that.
What gives you your greatest belief that you could be standing with the trophy in a couple of weeks?
Just what we've been through, Andy. I think we're going into a real tough part of the season, the teams that we play, and there's going to be momentum swings within these games, and our ability to push back and stay focused and be mature about that. Because of the tough times, we've learned some hard lessons, and we're going to need to pull on those lessons as we go into a really difficult time of the season.
You've had some impactful freshmen here before, Ryan Suter, Kyle Turson. Where does Nick rank on that, and what he's been able to do and accomplish for you guys, and what he's had to go through?
Well, it was a very tumultuous start for young Nick, no question. And he hung in there and survived it. And I think after Christmas, I think there was all this weight kind of dissipated from his shoulders, and he was able to be an 18-year-old boy and be a freshman. There was fun in him coming on the ice and trying different things. And I think the other thing that, we talk about Nick and the success that he's had. If he was standing here right now, he'd be the first one to tell you. It's also his line mates that have helped him be successful. He brings an element to his game, but when you're playing with Zangerle and Barnes, they also have some things. And in this game, I don't care how good you are, you need people around you to be successful and to be able to put points on the board and help your team win. And Nick's success is a direct result of playing with Mark and Barney.
Obviously they're student athletes. What's involved as far as their normal class work? And will you be doing a lot of class work more so than ice time in preparing for the NCAA tournament, considering the time of the year it is?
Well, first of all, I'm glad they're out of school now because they can. It's important that they rest their bodies. They've been going through the grind here, and not having school, they don't have to dissipate any of their energy, so they'll rest. But we will do our job as coaches to prepare them, and we're going to do the same stuff. We're not going to overload any video. We're going to go through our usual stuff that we prepare them for, and go on the ice and have some walkthroughs and prepare there, but it won't be anything special.
In the recovery, is it similar to what you had to go through in '06 when you had the multiple overtime game against Cornell and they had to get their bodies and get refreshed, that you have to do here with that, what the guys just went through?
It's recovery is such a huge part of what we do now as athletics, and we have great staff, Jim Snyder and Andy Rohde. And what we have here for them in terms of hot tubs and cold tubs and everything. So it's a big part of what we do. It's the next level of athletics in this day and age, and we have a good handle on that.
What do you take away from this as a coach, starting the season the way you did, and now ending it with a shot at winning a national championship possibly?
It's another example of life teaching you. You control what you learn to control what you can. And if you do that, if you have that mindset, you make good choices every day when you come to work, that good things will eventually happen for yourself.
Mike, you've said that twice now, and I've got to ask, are you saying that early on, some people were worried about things they couldn't control, and it was contributing to that start?
No,
Oh,
that was just we found ourselves in this hole,
Okay.
and so that's why I think I mentioned it.
What are the chances of Derek Lee having a chance to play this weekend?
I don't think this weekend, Andy. I think that his realistic chance of playing would be in the Frozen Four.
Did you get a chuckle out of Barry Melrose picking Wisconsin to win the national championship?
Who is Gary Shuchek? Shuchek, not Shuchuk. You know, so I'm gonna have to buzz Shuey's behind about that one. I thought he would play for him.
He did
He'd
play
know his
for him.
name. Yeah, I know that. That's my point.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for coming out tonight.
Thank you for